Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about these two RC cars that are both 1/10 scale. We're going to be talking about things that we like, dislike, and maybe some things that we'd like to change in the future or maybe soon to come. But let's get right into it. Alright guys, so this is the TRX-4 High Trail Edition. So what mine has is, this is a little bit different from some other ones because it's the High Trail Edition. It does have an extra 1-inch lift and bigger tires. These are the 5.3 by 2x2 size tires. Pretty sticky, nice. They do have foam in it, which my preference is, if you want a stiffer tire, they're great. If you don't want as stiff of a tire, then I guess they're not the tire for you. But these are the stock tires that do come with the vehicle. And he has something a little bit different than mine.
Oh yeah, so this is the Remo Hobby 1/10 RC crawler. That's basically pretty much what it's called, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Remo Hobby, yeah.
I got this off of Amazon. So what's different about mine is the tires actually don't have foam in them. Mm-hmm. They're quite a bit more soft, which I think gives me a little more grip on the rocks and whatever kind of terrain there is, but I don't know if it makes a huge difference, but it feels different. So I have a spare tire back here, a little compartment that has a clip. I just pull the clip out just like the body pins. It's a pin, I guess. Pull the body pin off. Do the same thing with this compartment, and it opens up and you can put small stuff in there, extra body clips or anything in there.
Yeah, because his have body pins, mine don't. Mine have little, basically little latches, so you can just pop it straight off.
Yep, way easier.
Yeah, a lot easier.
Especially because if your fingers get cold, it's snowing outside, and you want to take your battery out, something happens, you got to disconnect something, your fingers don't work when it's cold, and it's kind of hard to take them out, put them back in.
Mm-hmm.
So big plus with the clips, the body clips.
But he does have a spare tire, which I absolutely love. Mine doesn't. Mine just has basically just a little trunk space, 2 gas cans, fire extinguisher, an axe, shovel, a jack, and 2 max tracks, which these just help you get out of, basically, if you're stuck in mud or whatever you're basically stuck in, if you don't have a winch or whatever. They can help you get out with just add an extra little grip to it.
Speaking of a winch.
Oh, yep.
Since Joe was thinking about getting a winch in the future, possibly for this one, this is what we're using now. Just a piece of string that we attach either from the back to the front or from the back of his to the front of mine to pull each other out. Which is basically a tow strap, but this is what we'll be using until we get a winch.
Yeah, we usually just keep it in the bed of my truck. It usually stays in there, except for you can see, well actually this part was edited out, but from the first video, I went a little too deep and it floated right out of there.
Floated right across the water.
Yeah, but other than that, it stays in there pretty well.
Yeah.
I think next part, let's, let me just add one more thing. This, I did attach a GoPro mount onto the top of mine. So far, I like it, but it does add a little bit extra weight when you do put the GoPro on it. So an extra weight can be good for you, but it can also be bad for you when you are climbing things.
Yeah.
But other than that, love it. And now we'll get into the internals of it.
Alright, let's get right into it.
I don't know, here, we'll put them side by side so you can see the different tire size.
Alright.
So put it just like that. You see, it gives you a little extra height on this one, a little extra width, nothing too crazy. Yeah, you can see they're much squishier, and I gotta really press down on these. Another thing with these tires, they are basically bead locks. So what happens is the wheel is glued to the tire, but on the inside of it there are 2 holes in it that water can come in and out of. So the water likes to soak into the foam. So say after going through water, some deep mud or whatever, you get some water in there. Take it off, give it a good squeeze, like squeeze all the water out as much as you can, and just leave it sitting on its side so some of that water can drain. Because if you do leave it sitting like this, all the water will collect at the bottom and kind of leave a little divot, we'll say. But
the water will actually soften the foam up in that one spot, and the tire will actually squish down from the weight of the car. And then once you try and go and drive the car, you'll have flat spots start hopping around. So
yep.
Make sure you squeeze all the water out of the tires before you store it.
He'll tell you some about his interior, and I'm going to grab
it. So with mine, I actually do have bead locks. There's 5 screws on the inside of the rim, the tire, the wheel, whatever you want to call it. There's 5 screws. You just take the tire off here with the nut. Take the tire off, and then you unscrew the 5 screws inside there. You can take the rim right off, and then clean the inside of the tire. There's no foam or anything. You just flip the tire inside out basically and clean it. So that's pretty easy. But yeah, they are quite a bit softer and give me a little bit more grip. But also, I have a nickel battery. Joe's pretty sure is LiPo, right?
Oh yeah, I have a LiPo. I'll get to that in a second.
Which gives quite a bit more power. So this will only allow me to drive for about maybe 30 minutes, depending on what I'm doing. But what I have done actually with this battery, because of the charger that came with it, it takes about 8 hours, I would say, right? About 8 hours to charge this battery.
Oh yeah, off that one connector.
But so what I did was take a Traxxas ID charger off another battery, and I kind of spliced it with this battery here. So now I can plug it into my fast charger with my ID charger, and we'll take about an hour to charge this battery now. So definitely a big help there. Mm-hmm. But Joe's already.
Yeah, so back to the tire. There's a hole at the one side, and right at the opposite side there's the other hole, and that's where the water will come out. They're not super big, so it takes a little bit longer for water to get in it, but it also takes water twice as long to get out. So I just want to show you that, and this is what I'm talking about. There is, you can see the seal right there, but pretty nice tires for stock, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
And then back to what he was saying about battery. I do have a LiPo battery. It's Traxxas. It's a power cell, 25C, 7.4 volt, 2 cell. I always get this wrong. 5,800
milliamp hour.
Milliamp. Yep. Always get that wrong. And also, here, I'm going to show this to you. It's an ID battery. So, what an ID battery is, let me get this out. This is the charger you get when you get the when you have to get the ID battery. So, what happens is when you take have one of these batteries, I'll take it out of the case for you. This is the charger you'll get. So it'll tell you you're at your lowest point, and it tells you when it needs to charge. It has a built-in fan with it and a little bit different settings. So, because mine's a LiPo, you can put it at, I have mine set to LiPo, and you got store, fast, and balance. So what I like to do is I like to keep mine at balance, so it balances all the batteries inside it properly, which makes your battery last longer, so you don't have to get a new one. But once this is done charging, it will stop putting power into your battery. It won't just keep going on you. It'll also let you know when it is done. So when it is done, it'll give you 3 loud beeps, and then you just stop, and you can just unplug it. Great. And when you do plug it in, it won't automatically start. You do have to hold the start button for about 2-3 seconds. You'll hear it beep, the fan go on, and then it'll run for you.
Yep. Very helpful, very safe for your battery and your home possibly, because I've seen some videos of actually these LiPo batteries exploding or catching on fire. So it's very good to have a balance charger on hand for that specific situation. They're very safe and very helpful.
So this battery here is a little bit smaller than this holder. This holder is about, actually one side says it's something different. So this side underneath says 23 millimeters. So I think I'm going to go with, and the top says 26 millimeters. So it's somewhere between there of size. Here, I can put this in here to show you how big the battery is compared to the holder in here. So, I do have a little bit of play in here, but remember you got your wires too. So I believe you could put a little bit bigger of a battery in here, but I haven't tried it out myself. My battery clips in. Tyler's is a little bit different over there.
Yep, got a little bit of Velcro.
Yeah.
Nice and snug. Everybody loves Velcro.
Yeah.
Actually,
My opinion, I do love my clip a little bit more than his Velcro on here, because when it does get wet, obviously Velcro seems to wear when it gets wet.
Oh yeah.
So I do tend to like my clip a little bit more in that case.
Whatever.
Alright, so the one on mine, so this right here, we call this a
Receiver box.
receiver box, yes. See, I'm pretty bad with remembering components in here. I'm not the best at remembering it either. He's better. Gotta go. He's better at remembering this stuff than I am and remembering the names of different things and what they do. But this receiver box here, mine is sealed, so very waterproof. Most of this is waterproof, to be honest. But this especially is very important not to get wet inside, because if this gets wet inside, most of your controls will go bad on you pretty quickly. His is a little bit different though.
Oh yeah. So mine does not have a box around it, and this is a ESC and a receiver in one. He's got a receiver box which connects to the ESC. It's separate things, but this is both of those things in one, and they're not surrounded by a waterproof box. But this does say waterproof on it. On the back there, there's some writing back there. It says waterproof brushed ESC rock crawler in parentheses for a 2S lipo or a 6S nickel metal hydride. So even though it says waterproof, we have taken it in some pretty deep mud, and what happened was the servo, the wires that come from the servo that go into the receiver or ESC are exposed. So those prongs got wet, and I didn't dry them off properly, and they corroded, ended up ruining my steering servo, so I had to buy a whole new one. But now I clean it. I make sure I clean it well, and haven't had any problems since.
So our motors are a big thing too. We do not want them getting corroded, rusted, or anything like that. So the good thing is that we need to make sure they stay clean. It is very, very hard to make sure to keep them clean, because there are like a few holes in them. But you can shoot a little bit of grease or whatever in there, run it for a little bit, make sure it gets in everything, to make sure it's running smoothly. But recently Tyler's been having some problems with his motor, and I think he could tell you what those problems are.
Yes.
But remember, this is, how long have you had this again?
Probably about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years. I've had this car, same motor. Just recently had to change the servo out. But what happened, I think, was when we went into deep water, same thing that happened with the corrosion on the ESC. There was a little bit of corrosion inside the motor somewhere, and it wasn't lubed properly or something happened, but I get a lot of noisy vibrations coming from the motor, which also give me power loss, but it only happens when the motor gets wet now. So I'm not sure what's happening there. If you've got any ideas as to what's going on, it's kind of like a high squeal. Just let us know in the comments. Would be very helpful. But yeah. Alright, so on Joe's truck here, we have the brushed ESC that connects to the receiver box. You connect your battery right to this. If you press and hold this easy set button, there's a little blue button and a light. There's, I believe, what, 5 or 6 settings that...
I believe it's 5.
There's 5 settings, so there's crawl, trail, and stuff like that. But you just press and hold this button, it'll blink, and whatever setting you want, however many blinks that is what the setting is. And you just let go of the button, and you're good to go. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Everything about it is in the manual that comes with the vehicle.
And one thing you do see, there's little rivets in here. You don't want to really get that caked with mud too much.
Those are your heat sinks.
Yeah, so if you can, get a toothbrush or just get something and just give it a little wipe. Maybe just give it a little blow, wipe it off, something like that, and it should be all right. But you do not want to let it get too hot, because that could be bad for your motor and basically everything else inside your RC vehicle.
Electronics do not operate well when they're hot.
Yes, that's a good point. Next thing we'll probably talk about is our suspension here. Our clearance, you can tell, is a little bit different from each other in the front.
Oh yeah.
So he's a little bit lower than I am.
Like this.
Yep. I'll put him right nose to nose. His is a little bit lower. You can see you got a bar at the bottom right here.
For the steering?
Yep. And you can see mine's a little bit higher just to get that little bit extra clearance when you come on the nose. But he did take off his front bumper, as you can see, so he can get that come onto an object so much easier than I can.
Yeah. If you can, I don't know if you can tell, but that is actually behind where the front of the tires are, so I could go straight up to a wall and drive up it. It's a little bit helpful there, getting rid of that bumper.
Which mine has more of a problem like that, because I still have my front bumper on, and so I have to come more at an angle. But again, mine is a little bit higher, so I do have that little bit advantage on him.
Super helpful.
And
logs and stuff like that.
We can show you, I can grab this box right here. We can show you a little bit of our suspension at work here. You can see very good clearance, and we can all put our bodies on there too to show how far it is from touching our body, so we don't get that extra rub that people see sometimes.
Both trucks, even with full, suspension, neither one of them is going to touch the body at all.
Yeah, so you can see, if I do, sometimes I do get a little bit of tire rub in my wheel well, but sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. But you can see we do have a lot of clearance still left here and underneath as well.
Those portal axles really do help with clearance too.
Yeah.
An extra inch of ground clearance there.
So now we'll talk about what we do want to add and what we'd like to change to these. So the first thing, I'll go first on this one, but first thing I do want to change is, not really change, but add, is I do want to add a winch. Because sometimes carrying a rope around isn't the easiest thing to do.
Yep. So
just having that extra winch and you're able to reel it up and take it out whenever you want to is a big help. And again, it's not that hard to take out, just a few bolts, add the new one in, slice it through here, connect it, and it'll work. Probably like a 10-minute install, 5-minute install, not even that long.
Yep.
You got something you would want to add?
Yeah, I mean, basically the only thing I really can add to this would be the lights up top here. Other than that, there's really not much I can do other than, all aluminum parts, which they can be pretty pricey. So if it's not needed, then I don't really see a point in doing it until something breaks. But lights are a big thing for me because I like to drive at night and see the lights and everything. So this does come with 4 places to put lights up here, and it should just connect to my ESC. Won't be a problem. Should be pretty easy to install. But Joe's has a little bit different of a setup for lights, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. My lights are a little bit different. These ones I can exchange out for waterproof ones. Right now, if you keep them too long into water, they can get water into the lights, front and back. But I haven't had too many problems with that, except for one light I did have in some really deep water, and it did, I think it was this one right here, it did get some water in it, but it was super easy to drain. I took it out, drained it, works perfectly fine still, but the lights don't turn on and off. I do have to get a different kit for that, so I just get the wiring and the lights from, you can go to Traxxas, or we go to a different store, Fields Hobby, and we could just install that real quick, front and back, and the lights would work. And same for a light bar. I can get a light bar and attach that too, and what I've seen is they are pretty bright lights, so you can see quite a distance in front of you in the dark. The Trax we can get, I've been wanting to get those for winter time. Trax are a great thing to use, in my opinion, just during winter. So I get those. Those range from, we'll say, around $200. So I see them at the store. Yep. But they still have great range. They can do basically everything these can. But again, I would only use them in the snow. Another thing I'd recommend getting is, for me personally, I have a smaller one. So I get a trailer for that, so I can tow my smaller one. And you can get boat trailers, RV trailers, enclosed trailers. You can get basically anything you want. This does have a hitch on the back of it. Same with his. And we could basically pull whatever we want to. I got the plow. Plow would be a great thing for the winter too. I can hook when I do get a winch, I can hook this winch to the plow that goes up and down. There are some that are snow plows that run on their own batteries and remote that you can get, and those are a little bit higher in price. Well, a little bit more than a little. They're a lot higher in price. So I'm probably going to stick with just the normal plow and see how that runs. I wouldn't typically use it to plow your whole driveway. If you have a driveway, maybe just a deck or a porch or something that you want to go out. You could literally sit in your house and just drive it around, so you don't have to get outside and be freezing.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Freezing is not good.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the cold, but if you want to stay warm, one of these would definitely help. So those are the few things that we would add to our vehicles, and a few things that we would like to change. But if there are things that you guys would like to see, or things that we don't have that you would like us maybe to get or do something different with, or drive them in a certain area, or, well, to be honest, whatever you guys could really think of, we're pretty open-minded to try new things and explain those new things to you. And if you have any questions, just go down in the comments and let us know.
Alright guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you.